Okay, I'm here with Barb Anstead in Simcoe, Ontario, and she has graciously offered me a nice blackcurrant tea. So I'm not a tea drinker, so this is interesting.
A new experience.
It is, but I like it. So Barb and I actually did not know each other before Vox. We met through Vox. She had been introduced to the product and had a few questions, so I came over. Barb, why don't you let people know your background first,
Okay.
your educational background.
All right. So I am a natural nutritional clinical practitioner, and I've been in the healthcare field for about 30 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's old like me.
Exactly. And that's why I trusted you.
Yeah.
Because your experience and my experience, timeline-wise was pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when we got together, she had some questions, and she actually was pretty intrigued. And her comment to me, I believe at that time, was something to the effect of, "I'm going to try this on my family first." And I'm like, "No, you need them for yourself." But there's a little bit of background to that. So Barb has been through a fair bit in her life, and why don't you just kind of touch base on a couple of those?
So many years ago, 1990, was in a car accident, so that we were very blessed to walk away from that, but crushed and fractured vertebrae, concussion, got bounced around pretty good with that, had a few concussions in my life, but the main thing was the way that Lyme disease was changing my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Lyme disease. Your symptoms of Lyme, could you describe those?
Okay. So when I first had the ticks on me 11 and a half years ago, within 6 hours I felt like I'd been hit by a truck, and I had no idea the ticks were hitching a ride. You know? So many hours later, I just all of a sudden I felt horrible, and I asked.
The flu-like symptoms that are described.
Big time. Woke up the one morning and I couldn't actually see for a few hours.
Wow. And
right away to the optometrist, but they couldn't find anything wrong with my eyes, and that was just sort of a periodic thing that happened. So the big thing for me was the symptoms. They would go back and forth. I mean, at the time of the ticks, I was a really healthy person with a very strong immune response. And because of what I do for a living, I also had a lot of tools in my arsenal that I would use to manage my symptoms. And so not realizing that was what I was dealing with, and then having many other huge life stressors come up. For many, many years, I attributed a lot of my symptoms to
stress.
that. And my whole head would be on fire.
Okay.
And so the migraines were changed in severity and frequency enough, and I would be vomiting sometimes for days, that I did go for an MRI because my husband and my mom were certain that I had a brain tumor.
Yep.
And thankfully that's something we were able to rule out.
Right.
But there was still no answer as to what it was that had changed.
Okay.
And then last October was when I started going to the Lyme Association meetings in Port Dover, and was quite educated on did what's called the Horowitz questionnaire.
Okay.
The hands down, if you've had a bullseye rash, you have Lyme disease. That.
Okay.
So all in all, I wasn't a happy camper. I wasn't coping well. I'm surprised I didn't, get kicked out of my job in Port Dover because I just wasn't functioning well at all. I wasn't retaining things. And I was embarrassed and ashamed of myself, and I would come home every day and cry because I just don't know who this person is. Right. When I put the technology on, the interesting thing is it didn't do what I had hoped with my pain.
No, so you actually had almost a negative reaction at the beginning.
For 2 days, I was dragging myself up the stairs using the handrail. It was just like, whoa, something big is going on. But I'm really stubborn and I'm very curious by nature.
Well, and you know that there can be a healing crisis of sorts when your body is in such turmoil, but you live with it and it's suppressed, and then to put something on your body that could promote a healthy response, it can actually get quite negative for a while.
So
but you plugged on.
I did. But within 2.5 months, that was the real turning point. And interestingly, for my husband as well.
It was for me too, and that's a good plug for people. If you're not really seeing a good benefit from the technology on your body, be patient. We will respect that, but yeah, mine was about 2.5 months too before I could honestly say, okay, something's happening here.
Yes.
So
yeah, to the point where our analytical minds are really like, okay, yes, this is undeniable. This and this.
Maybe this actually works.
And so it's been really remarkable.
Good.
Because clarity-wise, I feel like my brain did when I was 25, which is a long time ago now. But the ability to multitask and just, after the end of a long day, I can still sit down and study and focus and concentrate and retain. And all of those things, they just weren't happening.
No.
It had turned my world upside down. And in regard to the migraines, I just don't have that issue now. I can't thank you and Barb for keeping at me enough.
We're a little persistent.
A little bit. But if somebody keeps poking you and say, please try these.
Well, and this is the thing. It's like you said, when you're absolutely sure this is going to help in some way, you can be persistent.
Absolutely.
Because you know that people need it. Specifically about your Lyme symptoms, what have you noticed with the tech on in the changes?
I mean, that's the biggest thing definitely is how it has affected my mental well-being with the Lyme, because things were going down the toilet and
pretty quick.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
As much as I tried to put a brave face on, I wasn't in a good place. And so I mean, I'm back to studying again because I have that focus again.
Nice.
And I have that,
And I see in you there's more joy.
There is.
There's a satisfaction and a joy that's coming from that. And that's neat to see.
And the other thing with the Lyme was I was always getting numbness and tingling in my hands. That is much better.
Okay.
And I was having a lot of issues with my shoulders, which apparently is quite common. A lot of shifting, pain and that with Lyme is very, very common. But just overall, my ability to handle things has changed.
Very cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's another question that I always ask people, and if someone were considering wearing this tech or considering using the Vox products, what would be the one thing you would say to them if they were considering that?
There's nothing to lose. There's absolutely nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain. Everybody's experience is going to be different with the tech. Some people have these amazing aha moments.
Yes, within seconds. And we're all jealous. It's like, that didn't happen to me.
That's right. But, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. I mean, the science is there. The evidence is there. Just try it, because they call it human performance technology, but I call it human potential technology, because it's enabling you and your brain to be in touch with what your potential is. Right. And then time will tell.
And that's exactly why I labeled this little vlog about reaching your full potential, because it's not about making you a Superman or anything like that. It's about what is the best potential you can reach. Let's get you there.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. Thank you, Barb.
Thanks.
It's been great to have you here. It's actually a good tea. I've enjoyed it.
All right.
So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.